And welcome back to another Running with James. Today we're talking all things mobility. Hey, let's go! Welcome back to another episode of Running with James. It's so good to be here with you again. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We are all things running, we're all things fitness. And so the last few weeks, we've actually been doing a series on strength training for runners. And so we started out talking about the lower body, working on these quads and the glutes and the hamstrings, really strengthen them to help us be faster, limit our injuries. We talked last week about our core strength, right? Talked about how do we build this foundation, this trunk strength, so that we can be more efficient, we can be better runners, and we can do that for an extended period of time. So today we're going to talk specifically about mobility. Now, when you say mobility, you may think, what does that have to do with running? Well, mobility is the thing that's going to allow our joints, our muscles, the bones, the skeletal system, our musculature, all the things that connect us do what they're meant to do, right? So from the head down to your toes, it's all one kinetic chain. It's all connected, right? So the shoulder bone connected to the arm bone connected to the, you get the drift, right? So it's all one system. And so we want to make sure from the very top all the way down to the bottom, we have the freest, most readily usable range of motion as possible. All right, guys, so here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start out with hip mobility, okay? So having really mobile hips, right? Right, having really mobile hips is important to get that full range of motion, okay? So between sitting down all day, all those types of things, it tends to not be all that amazing, okay? So one great way we can do this is just starting by a regular squat, okay? So we wanna try to squat down, and while we're squatted in this position, we wanna put our elbows between our knees, okay? So here's what tends to happen, all right? Is when you are down in that squatted position, oftentimes you'll go down and you'll see your heels come up off the ground. Well, when the heels come off the ground, that probably means your ankle mobility isn't all that great. Another thing you may see is when you squat down, you may just see kind of this bent over motion right here, okay? And so that just means we're really limited on our hip mobility. So here's what we can do. We'll start down in our backsides are on the ground. Very good. Feet are out. Put our feet flat on the ground, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a rotational movement with our knees. So we're gonna rotate to the side.
Rotate to the side.
Yes, rotate to the side. Rotate to the side, okay? And what our goal is to try to get our knees, both of our knees, directly on the ground. And we wanna be able to just continue to go back and forth. And so this may be all you have right now. And if that's all you've got, that's all you've got. But we wanna try to get to this position. When this becomes easier, then you just kind of move up a little bit higher, right? Get a little bit more vertical. And then you can switch to not using your hands behind you at all. Yes, perfect. Good job, Olivia. That's the first one. Ready? All right, so our next one is gonna work kind of on our spine mobility and help loosen up our hip flexors and our core, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it up and we're gonna get on all fours, okay? So we wanna try to make sure that our knee is directly over our hip. We wanna make sure our shoulders and hands are in alignment, okay? So what we wanna do is we wanna think about dipping our shoulder blades together, looking forward, and not being distracted by the small child crawling underneath me, okay? Then we're gonna bring our chins to our chest, arch your back, bring your hips forward, think about tightening up your core, then look forward once again, and then look down to see the child. And then back up once again. And so what this is going to do is really help to kind of loosen up your back. It's also going to help to get that core loosened up and then really start to target those hip flexors that tend to get kind of tight. All right, so the next movement is really going to help not only to increase the mobility in our hips, but also our abductors and our adductors, so our outer and inner thighs, and then also help increase some of that movement in those hip flexors as well. So remember, it's all one connective chain. So what we want to do is we're going to bring it up right to here, okay? And we're going to bring this leg and try to have it directly in front of our bodies. Tighten up our core, and we're going to lean 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to open up about 45 degrees. So just open up just a little bit, but we're still going to be facing forward, keeping that core engaged. And we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And here you're really going to start feeling it right there on the inside of that thigh. Then we're going to open it all the way up. So it should be directly perpendicular to your body. Still look forward, and you're going to go 1, 2, and 3. So it's kind of an active stretch, a movement, right? So that's kind of helping to elongate that muscle. So here's what we're going to do now. So switch legs. We're going to do the exact same thing. Keep the core tight, and we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. Then open it up just a bit. 1, 2, and 3. And then all the way out. 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so here's what we like to do as well. So remember, it's one kinetic chain. So we want to start from the top and work all the way down, okay? So we've done some stuff for our hips, worked on those adductors, abductors. So those are real. It's easy to know our hip flexors are involved in our running form. But our shoulders oftentimes are a very overlooked part of our kinetic chain. And so that's part of your upper body. And so from sitting down all day, kind of hunched over, doing the whole Quasimodo, say, sanctuary. Sanctuary. Perfect. All right, now be quiet. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to open up the shoulders a bit. So this is a really great mobility exercise. So you can use a band, right? You got your band? Okay. You can use a towel, you can use a broomstick, really doesn't matter. But what we wanna do is we wanna start by locking our elbows out. So our elbows are locked out, all right? And we're going to rotate. That's right, rotate each arm individually. Rotate, rotate, right? We're rotating. Rotate, maybe do 2 or 3 per side, okay? Then once we've kind of warmed that shoulder joint up, then we're going to grab that band once again, okay? Perhaps wrap it around, and we're going to lower it, pull down the middle of our back, and that's going to really help to open up that connector point underneath right by our lat, okay? Then we'll pull up again, then we'll lower it, and we pull up again. And then we'll switch and do the other side. And what you'll notice, you'll really start to open up that chest cavity. You'll really start to open up the connector between that chest and your shoulder, which we want to do, right? Because remember, when we're running, we want to stay upright. We want to make sure that our arms are open, and we want to stay away from that dreaded slouching, shuffling position, which tends to happen when we get tired. And we're back. So thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. I hope you learned something. I hope you liked them. I hope you like those moves. I hope you give them a shot. Give them for the next 4 to 6 weeks or so. Try to implement those into your training 2 or 3 times a week, and you will be amazed at how much more mobile you are and how freer you feel in your joints and your movements and your muscular system as you're going on your runs, and how quickly you recover after those intense workouts. So give them a shot. And here's the deal. If you haven't done this already, this is your homework. Take this video and share it with somebody that you love, because you share James with the people that you love. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for coming. As every single week, remember that if we can change our minds, we can change our lives. So do something this week that's gonna help change the way you think about something so that you can make a lasting impact on your life. It's all about living a healthy, happy lifestyle with friends, family, and a great community of people. So thank you guys for coming. Thumbs up. I'm going this way.